When people talk about teleportation, it sounds like it really exists, but of course it's only built on legends and hearsay, and in science fiction, mostly in science fiction, and of course magicians use it as an illusion. Vanishing something in one place and reappearing in another one is teleportation. Whether it's from one hand to the other, whether it's the cups and balls, whether it's something that you put in a box and it appears on the other side of the room, maybe another country, it's all the same thing, except it's done on a grander scale. In fact, a very famous magician called Robert Harmon once wrote in a magazine saying, now that David Berglas is making things vanish from one country to the next, what chance have we got using it on stage? But of course he was wrong, because it depends on the presentation. And I have quite a few examples. Let me give you one of my favorite ones. I was doing a radio series in the 50s, and every show I tried to do one big publicity stunt. And this particular one was something that I'm very proud of, because it took a lot of planning and a lot of red tape to get it done. And all it was that I managed to get a box to hang over Regent Street, rather like the Christmas decoration, from one side of the street to the other. And it was there, a great big metal box with a question mark underneath it, which was there for a whole week. I also employed 2 sandwich board men that walked up and down with a sign saying, "What's in the box?" And then they said, "Listen to the radio program on Sunday and you will hear all about it." I had that box sealed by the diplomatic corps, who were of course used to sealing boxes, so that it would be easily identified if anybody had tampered with it. It was then pulled across the pulley to the center of Regent Street and once again sealed by the diplomatic corps. We also had some sea cadets to do all the hard work of the ropes and the pulleys. Well, when I appeared on the radio show, I got some volunteers as usual, picked by the audience. One young man was chosen, and I asked him if he had anything that would identify him. It so happened that he had a passport. I took the passport, I asked him if he minded that we call out some of the details, and we called out the number of the passport, his name, and the date, and so on. That was written on a board. I then very deliberately put the passport in a polythene bag inside a small envelope, inside a larger envelope, which was then hoisted up on a wire in full view of the audience until it was hanging above the stage. All that happened before the radio broadcast started, but in full view of the audience. When it came to my turn in the show, I was announced by a famous comedian called Cyril Fletcher, and I walked on and explained what had happened, and explained that the envelope hanging in midair contained a passport from one of the members of the audience. I then also told them that we had an outside broadcast in Regent Street with some diplomatic corps members and the sea cadets. I established contact with Regent Street with a two-way setup, and the sea cadets and the diplomatic corps members were able to speak to me from the office block where the cable was tied, and they checked to make sure that the seals hadn't been broken either on the pulley holding the box or on the box itself, which was about 20 feet away from where they were. I asked the young man at the Playhouse Theatre to come up and take back his passport. So we lowered the envelope slowly. He opened the envelope, he opened the second envelope, and the polythene bag was completely empty. There was a gasp in the audience, and I acted up as if I was confused, and of course I wasn't, because that was the whole plan. I said, well, if it's not there, it must be somewhere. Let's try Regent Street. Again, I established contact, asked them to break the seal on the pulley, pull the box in, break the seal on the box, unlock the box, opened up, which they had seen empty when it was locked, and now there was something in it. Yes, it was the young man's passport. They called out the number to reassure us that it really was his passport, but then I said, just to make sure, that it really is your passport, asked them something that we didn't write down and that we couldn't have known. And so the young man said, "Could you tell me what my profession is?" And they read from the passport that he was a bicycle manufacturer. For some reason, they got a big laugh from the audience, but he really was. And then I said, "Well, I'm glad that's worked well. I'm sorry, we've run out of time. I won't be able to get it back by magic, but it will come back to you a little later on by taxi." And that's how I left it.
You satisfied yourself that there was no other way of getting in the box except by breaking your seal and then pulling the box down. You put a little tag on the seal stating the date and the time it was hung there. Is that right?
Yes, that's quite right.
Now, are you absolutely, and please say if you're not, are you absolutely sure that your seals have not been tampered with in any way whatsoever?
I'm entirely satisfied they have not been tampered with.
All right, in that case, will you please pull the box in now? Are you doing that?
Yes, we're pulling the box in now.
Yes, let us know what is happening.
It's coming in, just coming through the window.
Yes?
About to cut the rope. I'll be as quick as I can for you.
Don't let it drop out. There are a lot of people in the street.
Mr. Walker's holding the rope so we don't lose them. I've got the key. I'm just fiddling to strip off that red sticky stuff. I got that away.
Right.
There's the key in the lock.
Right.
The box is open.
Now, Lieutenant Montepenny, don't say anything for a minute, please.
No.
What I would like you to answer me is just the following questions. First of all, your envelope that you placed in there, is that still in there?
Yes, it is.
Of course it is. That secret mark you made on the envelope, that's still there?
It is. In the top right-hand corner.
Your signature across the stamp, across the flap, is that still there?
That is still there.
Right. Now, don't waste any more time, but open the envelope, please. When you have the envelope open, take out the piece of paper that you signed, and please verify your signature. You done that?
Yes, I'm holding it up.
Once again, you're quite sure that is your signature?
Yes.
All right. Now, you definitely told us that there was nothing else on that piece of paper when you put it into the envelope, into the box. Will you now please read out everything it says on that piece of paper? Now.
Document passport. Number 20639. Name, query. Height, 5 feet 8 inches. Date of issue, 21st June 1957.
That's what we have on the blackboard over here. Thank you. Thank you. But I'd like to carry this one step further. Very quickly now, are there many things in your passport? Will you just take the passport out, please, very quickly, and just check something that Lieutenant Commander Penny couldn't possibly know? Anything like that. Take it out, please. Out of the clip, I suggest, to save time. He's taking it out of the clip, he's taking the rubber band, he's opening it up, and he's going to take his passport out of this, out of the envelope. But, no passport. Gone. He said it's gone. In fact, what he's pulled out is another envelope. Inside that are 3 pieces of white paper, but no passport. Look, 1, 2, 3, no passport. Now that has been hanging here for you all the time. If I told you that Lieutenant Commander Penny knew all your details because the passport was in that box, would you believe me? No. We're going to sit down again for a minute. Lieutenant Commander Penny, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Once again, you had promised that there was nothing in the box except for your envelope and my bunch of cards. Is that right? What do you tell us now, quickly? Is there anything else in it now?
There is, yes.
And what is it, please? And describe it in detail.
There is a plastic bag with a rubber band around it containing British passport number 20639 issued to Mr. S. Suku.
Well, thank you, fabulous David Berglas.